Hi boys and girls, welcome back to our second reading lesson. So today we're going to be talking about problems and responses. So before we begin, I want you to close your eyes. Let's play a little imagination game. Ready? Now imagine it's a hot summer day and you're at the beach. You just bought a triple scoop ice cream cone. You walk away from the ice cream stand holding your cone carefully. As you go to take your first lick, the ice cream drops right into the sand. What do? Okay, you can open up your eyes. What are you going to do? Your favorite ice cream ever, triple scoop, falls into the sand. How are you going to respond? Now, let's say you're not a big fan of ice cream. So close your eyes again. Imagine you're at the playground with your best friend and he's getting picked on by the big kid. Your friend starts to cry and tells you he wants to go home. What would you do? There are so many different ways a person can respond to a problem. When your ice cream falls in the sand, you could turn around and cry and scream and yell. You could turn around and laugh about it. You could think it's funny that it fell in the sand. You could walk up to the ice cream stand worker and ask for another one because you dropped it in the sand. So today I want to teach you that the way that a person responds to a problem tells a lot about the person. Today our learning target is going to be I can identify how characters respond to problems. So yesterday we began talking about series books, and we talked about how we can collect information about main characters. And the way that you collected information about main characters is you thought about what the character was like, and then you created a character web. And that's a great way that you can collect information about a character and really organize your thoughts. Today we're going to read another book in our series about Emma the chicken. So the book that we'll be reading today is called Emma's Cold Day. Now, as we're reading today, you want to think about how the character responds to problems. So you have a graphic organizer, which is going to organize all your thoughts. You have an area where you can draw her problem and response, because I know some of you are very, very good artists. And there's also an area where you're going to write her problem and response to the problem. Sounds good? All right, so let's begin our book. We've got Emma's Cold Day by Margaret Roos and Barbara Spurl. Emma sat inside the chicken coop with all the other chickens. She fitted on her nest like the lid on a cookie jar. As she began to snooze, Emma heard something strange. Her beak was chattering all by itself. Before long, Emma was shivering all over. She got up stiffly and stretched her skinny legs trying to get warm. She hopped up and down, she flapped her wings, but nothing worked. The hen house was freezing. All the other chickens huddled on their nests. Their beaks were chattering too. "Tuck," she said, "this isn't good for chickens." And she set off to find a way to stay warm. Emma blinked as she stepped outside. The whole world was white. She picked her way across the barnyard. As Emma sank deep into the snow, she noticed the horse on his 4 long legs. He didn't seem bothered by the cold. Emma looked down at her own stumpy legs. "Tuck," she said, "if my legs were longer, maybe I would be warm too." Emma fluttered onto the tall fence post, but it was covered with a puff of snow, and she slid right off. She took another flying leap this time, and she fell beak first into the snow. The horse watched, looking warm and shaking his head. Emma dusted herself off and plodded away. Near the barn, a flock of sheep stood, bundled in their warm woolly coats. Emma tried ruffling her feathers out and snuggling into her own coat, but her bottom stuck out. She wrapped her wings around herself, but they didn't reach far enough. Emma was still shivering. "Baa!" balked the sheep. "Tuck, tuck, tuck," chattered Emma, as she strutted off towards inside. Huge black and white cows crowded together, their steamy breath rising in clouds. "Moo," the cows moaned as they munched on their hay. Maybe this was the way to stay warm. Emma crowded her way in between the warm cows. Crash! A huge hoof nearly flattened her, but Emma jumped out of the way. Swoosh! A tail almost knocked her into a cow pie. Slurp! The long tongue of a jigsaw calf gave her a slimy, slobbery lick. "Tuck!" Emma cried. This was worse than freezing. Carefully, she picked her way out of the barn and back into the cold. When Emma came to the pigsty, she peeked in. One huge boar was over by the slop trough. A long sow was stretched out in the mud. 10 tiny piglets were cuddled against her, grunting and sighing happily. Emma wasn't sure what they were doing. but they looked warm and cozy. Maybe she could be warm and cozy there too. Emma tiptoed through the muck and wriggled her way in between two piglets. "Ee!" they squealed as soon as she felt Emma's feathers against their stubby backs. "Grump!" grunted her mother as she spotted the intruder. "Harmph!" snorted the father as he charged at Emma. "Tuck!" shrieked Emma as she ran away from the pigsty and back into the snow. Leaving muddy tracks, Emma trotted past the empty turkey pen. She trudged past the pond where the ducks, warm and content, stood sleeping on one leg. "Tuck," Emma stuttered. If only this was the way to stay warm. Slowly she pulled up her right leg and plopped over into the snow. She scrambled to her feet and tried with her left leg. Plop! She fell over again. The ducks chuckled softly to themselves. Emma was very cold now. It was starting to get dark too. Shaking from head to toe, she looked up and saw a wonderful sight. The windows of the farmhouse glowed with a warm golden light. Emma just managed to shiver her way over to the big spruce tree by the porch. She fluttered up into the branches to get a better look. Inside, the farmer, the farmer's wife, and the farmer's children were all safe and warm. The green branches of the spruce tree were like a giant nest. Emma was cold. Emma was tired. She snuggled into her feathers and settled down for a little nap. Snowflakes fell softly around her. Suddenly, Emma was wide awake. A strange green light glowed on the branch beside her. She blinked up at the blue bulb and a radiant red one above her head. There were lights everywhere, and all those lights were melting the snow away. Emma heard children's voices. "Mom? Dad? There's something in the tree. Is it a partridge in the pear tree?" joked the farmer. "No," answered the boy. "It's a chicken in a Christmas tree." "It's Emma," added the girl. "She's sitting underneath the Christmas lights." Poor Emma cooed the farmer's wife. "She's half frozen. Why ever would she leave her warm chicken coop?" "Oh my goodness," cried the father, hurrying away. "I forgot to switch on the heat lamps in the hen house." Emma could hear the clacking of cold beaks as she neared the chicken coop. Warmth was just beginning to fill the hen house when she appeared in the doorway. "You girls have Emma to thank," said the farmer. "Without her, you would be pretty chilly chicks this morning." "Tuck," said Emma, feeling very proud of herself. The cold day was over. Emma settled down on her nest of straw and dozed happily off to sleep. So in yesterday's lesson, we talked about how we can collect information about a character. And it's important to do this as you're thinking about how they're responding to a problem. If you know what your character is like, you know that they're nice, they're sweet, they're thankful, they're forgiving, then they may respond to a problem in a very nice way. Now, if your character is angry and dangerous, then they may respond to a problem in a different way. Before I let you go, let's take a look at our learning target from today. Our learning target was I can identify how characters respond to problems. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please let me know if you have any questions. I would be happy to answer them, and I hope you stay safe and healthy.